Question number 21 asks us to simplify the powers of I. Now, there's some very interesting things that happen with these higher powers of I. So, let's start off with I to the 1. I could just express this as I. I squared, I know that that's just equal to negative 1. Okay, so I cubed, I could rewrite that as I squared times I, and then replace the I squared with negative 1. So then negative 1 times I is negative I. With I to the 4th, I'm going to replace that with I squared times I squared, which is equal to negative 1 times negative 1, which is equal to a positive 1. I to the 5th, I could break that up into I to the 4th times I, and we just said that I to the 4th was 1, so this is 1 times I, or just I. I to the 6th, I can break that up into I to the 4th times I to the 2, which is 1 times negative 1, which is negative 1. I to the 7th will be I to the 4th times I to the 3, which is equal to 1 times a negative I. Again, I'm referring to what my I cubed was. I know that that's negative I, and I to the 4th, I know that that's 1. So this is negative I. And then I to the 8 is I to the 4th times I to the 4th, which is 1 times 1, because I know what I to the 4th is, which is 1. So you'll kind of notice that there's a pattern here, and that it repeats after every 4. So it goes between I, negative 1, negative I, 1, and then back to I. So I automatically know that this is going to be I here, and here. This is going to be negative 1, negative 1, negative I, and 1. So the pattern just keeps repeating really forever. So very interesting, the higher powers of I.